Hello again. I'm so glad that I'm able to talk to you today. Today, I'd like to talk about the phases that a person will go through who has tardive dyskinesia or even any disability for that fact. But I am not a doctor. I've worked in hospitals as a unit clerk and a CNA and you name it, all over the hospital, nurse aide. But I'm not a nurse. I'm studying. Someday I hope that I can be a nurse, as long as I get my disability under control, and that's actually where my goal is now. For now, I want to talk to you about the first phase that you go through with tardive dyskinesia. The first phase that you go through is denial. When you develop tardive dyskinesia, you do not want to accept the fact that you're disabled. It makes you angry because you're not the same person that you were before. It's just from one day to the next, boom, you're moving and twitching and you're not yourself. You can't even speak. You can't write. You can't walk. You can't do anything. You drop things, and so you feel very helpless, and you feel like there's got to be something out there, something better. And you think for a while that it's going to go away and you're going to get better, but you don't. Um, Another phase that you go through is frustration, and that's basically, like I said before, you're frustrated because you're not able to do all those things. You can't even drive. You can't drive. You have a hard time cleaning your house. You mainly rest. Sometimes you have a guardian who's responsible for you when you're used to being responsible for yourself. Someone's taking over your entire life. So you do get a lot of frustration, and then you end up with a little bit of fear. And fear that you will never recover, fear that this is the way life is going to be, and um, there's no solution, especially when you read up and you see that it says there's no cure. But I'm an example. There is no cure, but with medication, you can live a normal life. Um, Another thing that we go through, another phase is depression. You go through severe depression. Basically, you end up being a hermit. You stay home. You become totally antisocial. You don't want to go anywhere. You just don't want to talk to anybody for a while. You don't want anybody to see you. You don't go to the department stores or Walmart or Kmart or any of the grocery stores because you don't want people to stare at you. And so you basically stay home a lot and you sleep a lot for the first few months because of the depression. And when you get the depression, that's the best time to go see a psychiatrist and a psychologist. It doesn't mean you're crazy. You're not. This is all normal. What you're going through, all you need is just a little bit of help and maybe some medication to get you through it. Another thing that you go through is sort of like social death. Um, the people that when you do finally get out and you do finally go to those grocery stores and department stores, you have to deal with people staring at you, and the embarrassment and the shame uh, of having the illness. And then you have to deal with family members. Sometimes family members get frustrated because they feel helpless. They feel like there's nothing they can do, and they just want you to stop. They want you to make it go away, but they don't understand it's not that simple. It never is. Especially our children. Our children go through denial like we do. My children were telling me, "No, Mama, there's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're okay." Until I had an episode in front of my son, and then he said, "Mom, it makes me feel helpless. I feel like there's nothing I can do." But the one thing that family members can do is be there to give support. When an incident does happen, hug them, hold them, help them take their medication. Uh, be compassionate, show compassion, and show love, because that's what they need the most at that very moment, because right there they're exposed to the whole world. They're exposed in every way that they don't want to be exposed. So I believe that surrounding yourself with loved ones is the best way to go. Another thing is you sort of get to the point where you don't want to be around crowds. You start feeling like you're anxious. You cry even. Then all of a sudden your tardive dyskinesia comes back, and you're moving all over the place. And that's also very common among people with tardive dyskinesia. Large crowds do make you nervous. And my advice is, when you're going through that, use preventive medicine if you can. If you're just 2 hours away from taking your medication, go ahead and take it. 2 hours before isn't going to hurt you. I know that for a fact. Working in hospitals, I know that for a fact. You can even take, if you can or you're allowed to take it, you can take Benadryl to help you calm down. So I always carry Benadryl in my purse just in case I can't get a control of my movements. And either you'll get very, very calm, you'll be normal, or you'll get a little sleepy, at which time you'll need to make sure that you're not driving and go home and lie down and just get some rest. Because when you do have relapses, you need to sleep a lot, and maybe take about 2 or 3 days off and just rest. The other thing, that another phase you go through, is you mourn. You mourn your life. You mourn the life you had before. Your friends don't call as much. Family doesn't come over as much. They have gatherings without you. Friends are doing things without you, and you don't get invited as much to functions. And so you mourn. You almost go through, like I said, a social death. You're mourning yourself and the way you were before. The seventh thing I want to say, that you discover that you need to rehabilitate, and the reason is, if you don't use it, you will lose it. So, and exercise is key. So when you get to that point where you know you have to do something, get up, walk out that door, go to a gym, and either get on a bicycle that's at the gym, the kind you sit down on, or get on a treadmill. And that's the way you start. Start very, very slowly. Do the same thing for a couple of weeks until you feel strong enough to get on another machine. Make sure you have some assistance or a family member to go with you. And if you don't, make sure there's somebody there at the gym that will help you. So that exercise is key. So it'll remind your body what its purpose is. I know when I was doing it, at first I was worse. I was shaking worse. I was walking out of there. I was embarrassed. I was in the car shaking worse. But I noticed after a while I got a tingling sensation down the middle of my back. And then all of a sudden it was like my body was remembering what its job was. So please exercise. Please walk. Please go to a gym. Do something. Walk out that door. Don't stay home. Another thing that you have to do, realize, is that what medication works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for another person. Klonopin works for me. It's for people with Parkinson's disease, but the reason some doctors don't want to give it to you right away is because it causes seizures. So they usually start you off on a very, very low dose. If you're taking Valium, well, Valium only works for a short time. And then it wears off and you have to take it again. That's the downside to it. So if you're not happy with the way you're feeling, talk to your doctor again. Let them know that you want something that's going to be more long-term, that's not working for you. You need something that's going to help you so that you can be normal most of the time. Like, for instance, like I am now. As long as I take my Klonopin twice a day, I am normal. I am pretty normal as long as I do that. So another thing that we have is, like I said before, take preventive medicine. Those are things that can help you. Take your medication 2 hours before. Take Benadryl to slow down. I already talked to you about getting plenty of sleep. And then lastly, you have to get to the point where you have acceptance. You have to accept that you have to work harder now. You have to work harder to get better. You have to work harder and eat better. You have to eat the right foods, eat plenty of fruit, eat plenty of vegetables. Take it easy on the meat, because the meat takes several weeks to digest, and chicken takes a little time to digest. Pork takes about 4 weeks to digest. So I eat mainly fish and chicken, and I eat small portions. I just take a little plate, not the larger saucer, but the one in the middle, and I take a portion and fill that up, and then when I'm done with that, that's what I eat. And if I want dessert, I'll get one of those Yoplait mousse, and I'll make a sundae out of it. I get the chocolate yogurt, and I put in my bananas, and I put in my strawberries, and there's my dessert. I do that with the pineapple one. I'll add apples, and I'll add pears and light cream, um, so whipping cream, which is fun. It'll make it more fun to eat. But you exercise and you walk and you take care of yourself so that you don't get overweight, and that will also help you. Stay away from any kind of alcohol, because alcohol will make you worse. I know it's difficult for some. I know every now and again you feel like, oh man, I can't do this anymore, but you know what, you can. And you have to discipline yourself. When you're at the restaurants, drink lemon with water, or drink a Sprite. Anything, stay away from caffeine, period. And that will help you. Drink carbonated drinks, those strawberry ones that they have, those carbonated strawberry drinks that are peach and strawberry and whatnot. Instead of soda, you could try that, sugar-free like Splenda. Another thing that you can do is just remember that God did not do this to you, okay? Man did this to you. Man's medication did this to you. This is not a punishment. You're not being punished. That is the one thing that you have to put in your heart. Leave it right here. And you need to say to yourself, I'm okay. God didn't do this to me. God didn't do this to me. And then fight. I want you to fight to get better and fight for your well-being. Fight to make a difference. Research. Ask questions. Talk to people. Do whatever it takes to get better. Make sure that you have your family support, because that's vital. Make sure that you make new friends. If your old friends aren't talking to you, make new friends. But get out of your house, okay? My name is Donna C. Ledesma, and I'm here to help. Have a great day.